Hello and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss any number of topics that may have come up during this intense week. I'm your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you're comfortable calling me. And welcome to you, my co-host, the chat. Always a terrific time having everybody here. It is a crazy time in our world right now. Not just in this country, but everywhere. But it's nice to know that at the end of the week, there's a silver lining. Yeah, all right. The name finally worked. Ryan, Dr. Gibbs, what's going on? Sorry, I got a little something itchy there. What is going on? Hopefully you all are doing well for yourselves, taking care of yourselves, taking care of each other, as we always say. Or as I try to remember to say, I think that needs to be one of my catchphrase slogan type things, is to take care of yourself and take care of each other. You got to take care of yourself. That's the most important thing, because you are not going to be able to take care of others if you cannot take care of yourself. But once you are taken care of, you look out for your fellow man. You grab a slice of pizza, and then you make sure that the people next to you have a slice of pizza before you go for another one. That's it. But what if I'm an asshole? Then Latimer, then I would say you've got a lot of work to do. Everybody has a right to be themselves. Everybody has a right to be who they want to be. The problem becomes when you start hurting other people, when you start impeding on other people's ability to be themselves. And by definition, if you're an asshole, that means that you like to encroach on other people's existence. So don't do it. Do I take care of myself? You still take care of yourself. But one of the ways that you take care of yourself, when you say take care of yourself, you don't just mean eat properly, exercise, do all of that stuff, which I really shouldn't be telling anybody to exercise. But you don't just mean that. It also means look inward. It also means consider who you are as a human being and how you treat other human beings, and decide for yourself, to look for yourself and see, is the person that I am intentionally hurting somebody else? Because if it is, that's your fault, and you need to take care of yourself for that. Absolutely. Because you're not going to make everybody happy. Like, that's the thing. When I say stuff like that, when I say you're not hurting anybody, a lot of people say, oh, well, sometimes people just get hurt, like their butt hurt or something. It's understandable if you are a type of person that people just don't like. That's something different. But you're not actively trying to hurt anybody. If you're an asshole, then yes, that usually is defined by the fact that you are actively trying to make other people's day worse. And stop it. But hi, Latimer. Here, Hyrule Suave. What's going on? Suave, I'm doing research on a TV, on TVs. I don't know if I'm going to go with the one that you had suggested, mostly because I'm not even sure that it's in stock anywhere. I found one that's decent, but it's a 60 hertz TV. So I'm questioning whether or not I want to get a 60 hertz TV, because I know that it's going to bum me out. I know that I'm going to wish I had a higher frame rate TV, because right now I have a 120 hertz frame rate TV, and it's fantastic. I did have a 120 hertz frame rate TV until it now broke yesterday, which I am extremely sad about. The 60 hertz, no, 60 hertz is 60 frames per second, basically. With 60 hertz, I think the most you can get with 60 hertz is 120 frames per second with some finagling. There's some, like Ryan said, game mode. I think that there is some trickery that they can do. But if you get 120 hertz native television, the picture is astonishingly better. In my opinion, anyway. I know there's a lot of people that say they don't see the difference. I very clearly did. When I the first time I saw a native 120 hertz TV versus a native 60 hertz TV, I saw a clear difference. That's the one I had. Yeah, okay, that's the one you have. Good luck. Good luck with that. My TV is broken. Okay. But Latimer. Now it's just a black, like a sheet of paper, and they're like, as seen on TV. Like, what do you mean? Well, your TV. Game mode basically use more power to up the refresh rate for gaming when basic shows and stuff don't normally need it. Yeah. Even a lot of games, like I have a regular PS4. The regular PS4 doesn't do anything above 60 frames per second. I just, I like it. I like having the ability, especially when you talk about next gen systems. If some magical way I ever got a PS4 Pro, I would like a TV that I can see, more frames, because I do definitely notice higher frame rates. I know that a lot of people say that they don't see it, but when you think you don't see it until you see it, and then you can't not see it. I learned that with 60 frames and 30 frames per second. 30 frames per second is absolutely playable, but 60 frames per second is very noticeably different, in my opinion. It depends on what you want. I still use a CRT, so everything else is a step up. I got around to watching BSC's Green Star Psychology. But yeah, I have a Samsung NAD. It works great. And my dad got one to replace the older TV in the family room. He likes it a lot. So I have to say go with those. Okay. I'm doing some research now. It turns out that, so I hate ordering electronics. I can't stand it because I'm always worried that it's going to get broken in shipping and they're not going to believe me or whatever. Or even if they do believe me, it becomes a multi-step process to refund my money or to get my product. And then it's just going to take longer. I prefer to shop in stores. So I went to Walmart today to look. I thought I saw a nice TV, so I need to do more research on it. But it looks like most of Pennsylvania is going to be stepping into phase yellow for the COVID stuff. So I was on Best Buy's website and I looked at their hours, because our Best Buys, let me know if this happened to you. Our Best Buys were doing curbside pickup up until a few weeks ago, maybe a month, and then apparently they just stopped everything. Like, they closed. They're never open. There's no anything. What's phase yellow? It was the phases of emergency during the COVID crisis. So phase red was like what we're used to right now, right? Which is where pretty much nothing is open except essential businesses, and they want you to limit your contact as much as possible. Even in public spaces, they don't want public gathering or anything. Then there's phase yellow, where you can do small public gatherings, but they say no more than 25 people. A lot of experts are actually saying less than that, but certain non-essential businesses are opening up to limited capacity. For instance, any restaurant who has an existing outdoor seating area, like, you have the restaurants that have indoor and then there's a patio where there's some tables, they're allowed to open up the outdoor sections only. And then I think they're only limited to like 4 per table or something, or some maximum number of currently being served. So everything is moving into that. So the Best Buys are supposed to be opening up more. Where'd your hair go? My hair is back here. I pulled my hair back, which is very unusual for me. I normally like to have it up front for the show. My hair is a giant humid mess. So I didn't want to have it down. And I noticed the other day I straightened it. Like, I used the straightening iron to bring it down a little bit. So I had it down like normal. By the end of the stream, it was like here, and then it was like here by the end of the stream, and I was like, oh my god, because it's so humid right now. It's so hot and it's so humid. It's probably, I want to say it's like 75 in the house right now, maybe 80 degrees, which doesn't sound really bad, but I don't like the heat. But it's also extremely humid because it's been raining. Like, it rained a lot the other day, which we all remember that my stream cut out on me because it was storming. And then today it's like off and on rain. I had no idea it was even going to do that. I don't like online shopping much. I like seeing what I'm buying. So what I was saying was that we're getting out of phase yellow, and it looks like the Best Buys are going to open starting Monday. So that's great. The problem is, if I want to go and buy a TV in person and bring it home that same day, I have to go, what is it, the 5th? I need to go the next few days without a big TV in my, or rather, not a big TV. I don't worry about the big TV so much as the fact that it is my TV in front of my couch so that I can sit down and relax. I don't normally like to sit at my computer for a long period of time because the chair's not super duper comfortable. So I am either settling for whatever I can find or waiting a few days and then going to Best Buy when the store is actually open and I can do some shopping. So it's sort of hit or miss. I may do that. I really do like to shop in person. I think in person they're going to have a much better selection. When it comes to something like Best Buy, they've always got the wall of TVs and stuff. So I think I'm going to end up doing that, but that just means getting through the next few days without a television. I'm glad I got my TV during the holidays. So what brand are you looking for? The TV that died on me was an LG. That is not saying anything bad about LG. I've had that TV for 12 years, and that TV has seen at specific times very heavy use, as in on for 24 hours a day. I have stayed up all night playing video games and watching anime or movies or something, and I have several times played all night with that TV. So LG is a fantastic brand, so I'm not turning them away. Samsung is another brand that I am very, very fond of. I have always had extremely good experiences with Samsung products, so I'm really looking at those specifically. I'm trying not to look at the lower tier brands like Vizio and TCL, but I do know people that have Vizio TVs and they work perfectly. So I'm not excluding them, but I know somebody that has a big Vizio TV and they had to buy one like 6-7 years after they had it. So they got good life out of it for the price, but they had to replace it again. And it's like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. I've had my Samsung since 2013. Yeah, LG is pretty decent. LG is a really good brand. That's why I got the LG in the first place. I experienced very good things with LG. So when it came down to buy a big TV, that TV was actually a gift. But I pretty much sort of picked it out, and then it was actually purchased for me without my knowledge. I was very happy with it. Thank you, Beth. Philips is great. So is LG. Both are in my house. I have a Vizio and it's pretty all right. It seems like I always get Vizios. Yeah, Vizios are notoriously cheaper. Vizios, I think, were one of the first high quality discount brands when it came to flat TVs, when it came to panel TVs. I think anyway. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember with some of the other brands, but they were always crap. Stuff like TCL didn't exist at the time. But there were like, I think Sanyo did a few flat panel TVs and they were kind of crappy. Vizio, I think, was one of the first ones that I remember people buying and not saying, "Oh, it broke on me in a year." It's funny how hesitant I am buying electronics for stupid video. Yeah, Suave. I'm the same. Well, I'm the same way with a big ticket item. If it's a small ticket item, I'm like, just buy it. If it breaks, it's fine. It's, I don't have a lot of money, but at the same time, I don't care about money really. Like, other than paying my bills and everything, I don't mind spending money if I'm not worried about my bills coming up. But big ticket items, I'm always like, do I need it? Can I live without it? Elements Dragon Supra, Straight De Niro, what's going on? Hello to everybody who I've not has said hello to. I apologize if I haven't. I got a Sony Bravia in 2002, and it died in 2018. Sony, I liked Sony's flat screen TVs, not the flat panel, the flat screen tube TVs, the CRTs, but Sony's flat panel TVs, I remember there being some issues with them. I knew people that I talked to, and they're like, it's just kind of so-so. And then it was like a Sony tax. Like, you pay $200 more for the TV, even though it's the same TV that some of the other very reputable brands have. So I know I have my brain has a bad, not experience, but like a bad image of them in that product department. Yeah, unless it's a Trinitron. But yeah, I replaced my TV during the holidays. The one I had was 10 years old, and it was time for me to upgrade with PS5 coming soon and being 4K and all that, plus having all the apps. Yeah, that's another thing I need. I need a TV. I need a smart TV because I am currently using my PS4 for apps. Like, I have to use my PS4 to watch Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. So I would like a TV that has that stuff built in. So that's good. It's wearing down on my PS4. I was worried at first when all of this happened. So what happened with my TV 2 nights ago? It was on for a while. Like I was watching stuff and I dozed off for a little bit. The PS4 was on, and then the image froze. Like I was playing a game. I was playing Warzone, and the image froze. So I thought, oh, okay, something's wrong with the system, because it wouldn't turn on, it wouldn't respond or anything. So I eventually the TV turned off. Turned it back on, an hour later, it did the same thing, and I thought it was the PS4. But it was 1 a.m, 2 a.m, so I turned everything off and I went to sleep. Woke up the next day, started playing, doing everything again. Later on that day, it was right before I posted that tweet last night. It did it again. Only when it seized up on me, it was like making this weird noise. I was sitting there watching the screen trying to change something, and it's like, and then it would go by a minute, and it was just doing this weird thing. So I managed to turn everything off. Again, thought it was the PS4, but then I realized that the TV was not responding. I would press the buttons on the remote. I would press the buttons on the TV. It took a second to power off. When it finally did, I couldn't change the input or anything. So I realized that, okay, no, it's the TV. I put the PS4 onto my setup over here to make sure that everything worked, and it does. It's the TV. So and then now when I turn it on, it takes a second to turn on. Normally when it turns on, it tells you what input you're on. It doesn't do that. The only thing that comes up is the there's no audio, there's no picture, there's no nothing. The only thing you know how when you turn a TV on in a dark room, and even if the image is black, you can still see the backlighting. You can still see the screen goes from pitch black to a sort of very, very, very hazy white that tells you that the backlight is on. That's all that works. Nothing. And in the TV again, if I push the inputs, nothing happens. If I push menu, nothing happens. If I push power, it takes a minute, and then it shuts off eventually. So yeah, and then I looked onto an LG forum, and then it led to the actual LG page, and the LG page actually has a troubleshooting guide, and it ran me through the steps. Do you hear audio? Do you see picture but no audio? Do the buttons work on the remote? Is the TV plugged in? Like all of that stuff. Like it went through everything exactly as it's happening on my TV, and when it got to the bottom, it said the problem is either your T-Con board, or which is like a timing control board, or your main board are broken and need to be repaired. Need to be repaired or replaced. So I started researching those, and they're like $50 to $100, but I don't know which one it is. I am confident that I could do the repair myself if I had the part, but I don't want to pay the money for one and then it turns out to be the other. Not to mention the fact that it's a 12-year-old TV. I fix that, something else is still probably going to break. The TV is still 12 years. It's like a car. Like, okay, my brakes need to be changed on my 20-year-old car. Like, okay, that's fantastic, but at 20 years old, other things are starting to break. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to replace the brakes on your 20-year-old car, and then the transmission is going to go. It is just the way of the world. Yeah, like Ryan, actually, it's funny. You were talking about your USB device, and you said, like, why would it just randomly stop working? And that's exactly why. Once they get old to a certain point, the parts just deteriorate and it just stopped working. It just sucks that it happens now, of all times in the world and in my life, for everything to be falling apart so badly that my TV is broken. You mentioned the USB thing, and it's working fine today. So never mind, I'm an idiot. Yeah, at least TVs aren't as heavy as they used to be. I think, yeah, a couple people were saying that, I think. My family stuck to a huge CRT for a good few years into the Wii's lifespan, till we got an HD flat screen. Now it seems like we're constantly being gifted our parents' old HD TVs. I love it. It's so great. I like that we completely moved away from CRTs. I love CRTs. As a retro gamer, I love CRTs. But it's great that we sort of moved away from all of those heavy TVs, to the point where when your grandparents are getting a new TV and they give you their old TV and that's still a flat panel TV, you know that you have moved forward. Hey, Hey, Cream the Rabbit. We're rambling like we always do. We always ramble at the beginning of the show. Hello, everyone who has stopped in, who I've not said hello to. Fantastic having everybody here. Terrific. Yeah, it makes sense to just get a new TV. I mean, it's just not cheap. That's my only problem. If I, based on my research so far, if I try and get a true 120 hertz refresh rate TV with 4K, because it's actually kind of hard to find a 1080p only TV. If I get a true 120 hertz 4K TV, the cheapest one I seem to have found is like $700. So, the 60 hertz is like 400. I think I found a very, very decent, like 55-inch TV for $400 after tax. Fantastic. But yeah, if I want to do 120 hertz, at the very least, it's gonna be like double the price. My 32-inch CRT weighs something like Minion. The last time I threw out a CRT of that big was my 30. It was a 32-inch Sony Trinitron, Sony Vega TV, and I had to like take it apart, and then it was in the basement. I had to set up in the basement. I had to like take it apart in some way as best I could to reduce the amount of one-time weight, and then I had to bring it up on a comforter. I had to put it on a comforter, and then we had to lift it in order to bring it up the stairs. I didn't have those moving straps yet, which I do have now. Might as well go 4K. That'll be the main standard for the next 10 years. Yeah, I won't go 1080p just because it's difficult to find one. Like, it would be, if I wanted to strictly stay 1080p, I would have a harder time finding a TV than going out and buying the one that's better. It's so weird. Yeah, the 60 hertz thing, unfortunately, I'm probably going to end up having to stick with, which kind of bums me out. But I will focus on getting a 144 hertz computer monitor. That'll make me feel better. We might have similar models. Minion, I have a feeling you have the gray, flat screen, gigantic Sony Vega TV that we all had. Yeah, 60 hertz with game mode is fine, all things considered. Yeah, I'll stick with that. I think my TV, my 1080p TV is 120 hertz rated enough. I never had a way to really test out if it's really 100. Minion, just look up the model number, and the model number specification should actually tell you. They can claim 120 hertz sort of simulated, like game mode, but where it says refresh rate, if it is a true 120 hertz, it will actually say 120. If it is a simulated 120, it'll say 60 hertz. Greg and me need to be TV buddies. We're TV buddies. But Suave, so it'll be like Poltergeist. When you see the fuzzy screen and like, they're here, and there's the person inside the TV. When I touch the TV, it will absorb me, and it is actually a portal to your house. Unfortunately, it's dated now because the remote has buttons for PS View. Oh, man. I mean, it says 120 hertz on the front. Okay, so if it has 120 hertz on the front on the badge, then it's probably true 120 hertz. The TVs that are 60 hertz and then they simulate it through game mode, they have to specify that it is simulated in some way, or that it has a 120 hertz mode on it. But it can't say true 120 hertz. Join me and smoke weed. No need for ultra. Yeah, no need for ultra 4K 3D in my IMAX. Poor home 3D, man. Home 3D just got beaten into the ground, man, by nothing. It's like, right? Like home 3D lost the battle to nobody. There was no competition for home 3D, and they still got beaten into the ground. Yeah, they're selling 8K TVs now, and they're like $3,000 for the big ones. Like, Ryan, because it's a status symbol. because that's all it is. It's so that people walk into your house. The only people that buy $5,000, because you're saying 3,000. I've actually seen more expensive. The only people that are buying 82-inch $6,000 8K TVs are the people that when you walk into their house and they want you first of all to compliment their TV, and then you're going to be the person that says, thanks, it's 8K 82 inches. Like, you're going to run down those stats because those stats are why you bought it. Like, nobody who just casually bought, like the people, everybody in here who's like, oh, I have no idea what my TV is. Like, my TV is just my TV. I went and I bought it. Nobody's buying that $6,000 TV because they don't know. They don't understand they don't know the quotables, right? The Elements it said it perfect. Like, hey, let me quote numbers at you. They don't know the quotables. They don't know the words that they're supposed to say that are supposed to make your penis go stand up because their TV is so amazing, right? Like, they don't know to say, oh, it's 8K and it's like, they don't understand any of that stuff, so they don't say it to anybody. The people who pay $6,000 for an 80-inch TV with all of those features, they know that you get a stiffy when you hear those numbers. It's number porn. So I have a question for you. Have you played many of the Metroid Castlevanias, and if so, which game do you what do you mean, like the actual Castlevania games? I think I've played all of them. I want to say that I've played all of the Metroidvania style, like the DS games and stuff. Oh, I didn't play Aria of Sorrow. I have a hard time finding a copy of Aria of Sorrow, but I have played all the other ones. Yeah. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. Order of Ecclesia is probably one of the best ones, if not one of the most difficult ones. Let me go over the manufacturing process of how my TV is made. Flats are old news and it's actually Flip. I'm probably going to, if I go with 60 hertz, I'm probably going to end up with a curved TV. The one of the ones that I was looking at today was a curved TV, and I actually have two curved computer monitors right here. I actually kind of like the dynamic shape of it, and I'm gonna be honest, I do kind of feel like it's a little more crisp, but I don't think that has to do with the fact that it's curved. I think it just has to do with the fact that they're decent monitors. Samsung monitors, by the way. The array of monitors. Oh, I would actually love that. I would actually love the big. I was thinking about upgrading to a 3-monitor setup to have one monitor permanently for gameplay. Real screens have curves. Igavanias are expensive AF, so I would choose a good one to jump in. Yeah. So I want to choose a good one to jump into, aside from Symphony of the Night. Circle of the Moon was a fine game on GBA. I thought Harmony of Dissonance was was kind of okay. I would say the DS games, Portrait of Ruin, Dawn of Sorrow, Aria of Sorrow, I heard is good. I just haven't played it. That's GBA. And then Dawn of Sorrow was like a follow-up to that, and then Portrait of Ruin. Order of Ecclesia is fantastic, but I probably wouldn't say to play that one first. I'd probably say Portrait of Ruin. I would say if you're looking into the DS games, I would say Portrait of Ruin. If you're looking into the GBA games, try Aria of Sorrow. That seems like a good spot. Wall of monitors like the dark. No, Wing Zero. I want the wall of monitors like in Batman 89, where it's all CRTs. Aria of Sorrow is on the Wii U Virtual Console. Charlotte Jonathan. I still recall with having a projector. Dr. Gibbs, I would love a projector. I've wanted a projector for like 15 years now. But not for day-to-day viewing. I would love to have, it's a luxury item. It's a 100% luxury item. I would love to have it so that when I want to watch a movie, like bust out a Blu-ray marathon of Star Wars or something like that, that I have the ceiling screen that you pull down and then the ceiling mounted projector behind the sofa, and I see 120 inches of lightsaber goodness. I would love that, but projectors are expensive, and it is a luxury item. It would not be my day-to-day TV, so I can't justify the expenditure. We got it at my dad's work and another. Oh, it's fairly cheap. It's a loud one. Yeah. See, I don't know if they make any. Like, I wasn't aware if they made any noise or anything. Like, I have the surround sound system and all that stuff. That stuff is great. The idea of turning my home into a theater where I could watch movies and get an almost theater like experience is so good. 120 inches of lightsaber goodness. Wait. Gotta throw that one up there for that comment. I've certainly had a few friends around to watch movies on a projector. Salmon Samurai is so good. Yeah, like you get people, you get a one or two people over and you hang out and you watch the big screen. Oh my god. You know what else is loud? The THX logo. I thought I have the THX logo, but I did not. I guess I did not put it on my. Hold on, let me see here. I don't think I did. Yeah, I never put it on my my Stream Deck. My uncle uses a projector for movies, and he has a room with a giant wall and it's real nice. Yeah, I have. We have friends of ours who every year they throw a Super Bowl party. Every year we go over and we watch the Super Bowl, and we watch the commercials and sometimes the football game, and then we talk, we hang out and stuff. He's got a projector that he uses for sports and stuff like that, like you know the Sunday Ritual and then the Super Bowl and all that stuff. It's funny because he, when we went over this past Super Bowl, the projector's starting to break. So he needs to go and get like one of the logic chips replaced or something. I think it's the CCDs. He needs to have them replaced. So there were a bunch of like out pixels, like there were a bunch of broken pixels. So I was hassling him like, oh man, I'm thanks for inviting me over to watch 98% of the Super Bowl. But yeah. Projector, yeah, 4K projector 1600, 4K projector 1600 CAD. And that's a luxury item on top of the fact that I would still need to buy a TV for day-to-day viewing because the projector is not a day-to-day item. Those have a significantly shorter lifespan than a regular TV. A friend of mine made a home. Yeah, oh my god, Flip, I would love to do that. I mean, my surround sound is brutal. Like I don't use it very much because I have neighbors. One neighbor connected, and because I live in a it's like a twin. And then just other neighbors close by, so I don't put my surround sound on at like extreme blast. But if I did with the subwoofer and everything, oh my god, it's so great. Lord of the Rings. I used to watch Lord of the Rings and the opening scene where they tell the story of Sauron, and then when he dies, spoiler alert, when Sauron gets killed and he sort of explodes, and then there's this wave that runs over the battlefield. That's a real bassy moment. So I used to watch, and then it was like, hold on. It was, you're sitting there like, oh, this is amazing. Empire Strikes Back. Lord of the Rings again, when the Balrog shows up. Oh my god, there's so much bassy goodness. God forbids. The lens, with projectors, the lens doesn't break if you take care of it, like if you've got it elevated or something like that. What does happen is the lamp inside, the actual light that's in there, that degrades over time, and that needs to be replaced. And that's not like, oh, I take care of it so the lamp doesn't break. It just happens. I think they said you get a couple thousand hours of life out of one of those lamps before it needs to be replaced. Bulb original. Okay, so yeah, the bulb. I always say lamps. Lamps is always the word that I grew to. Like when I talk about headlights and stuff, I always call them projector lamps. I always got into using that word. But the TV, keep an eye on Twitter. I will keep you all updated as to whether or not I get a TV before Monday. If not, Monday's probably going to be the day when I get a TV. But until then, I will need all your help to be entertained because I will not have a full-size TV. Okay. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to push this button. And we're going to get into our topics. The first topic is a strange one. I did this in this order because the first topic I don't have a lot of information about, and I don't think anybody does. I have an article here. Hold on. I have two articles open. This for this one. So last week we talked about Sega teasing a big reveal. A big reveal that was supposed to be revealed during a Famitsu issue was released 2 days ago, I think. And then in that issue was an article about Sega's big thing that they're doing, and they were talking about how it's going to shake up gaming. Yeah, it wasn't even Sega. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Ryan. They were not hyping it up. The reporter kind of was hyping it up, which we also did. I admit that we also did. But I admitted when we were doing it that that's what we were doing. So we had this idea of this hyped up thing that was supposed to be coming that was going to change the industry. And lo and behold, there were two announcements, one of which we're not entirely sure of. So the first announcement that we're going to talk about today was what they're calling fog gaming. It took me a second to find out some information about what exactly this is, because a lot of the articles the first day were saying the same thing, that the information is sketchy. We're not really sure what exactly this is supposed to be. So this is what it's basically supposed to be. Arcade machines are very big in Japan. There are still plenty of arcades all over the place. New machines are hitting places very regularly, and these new machines have a lot of new technologies involved in them. The problem is that arcades are open only for a certain amount of time, and then they are closed, and then that's it. That's all they do. They want to implement this thing. I'm looking over at the article every once in a while. They want to implement this thing that everybody's sort of calling fog gaming. The idea is that you're going to use the hardware in the machines themselves to facilitate a cloud-based gaming experience for people at home. They will be able to use the computing and processing power of the arcade hardware itself online to power their gaming experience at home. Not unlike something like Stadia. Not unlike we actually see from a lot of different services at this point. Only instead of a dedicated building with a dedicated bunch of servers in it, you're going to be using the arcade machines to power the system. It is a fascinating idea. What we're unsure of, what I'm unsure of, and what this article seems to be unsure of. I'm reading the Ars Technica article. There were actually a bunch of articles for it. I just chose the Ars Technica one. We have read Ars Technica articles before. They're really reliable. The problem is we don't seem to know anything else. Like, we're not entirely sure how this is going to be delivered to everybody, whether it's going to be a Sega brand channel, it's going to be part of another service. We also don't know, and this is the one that was weird to me, we don't know what you're going to be able to play. I've read this article twice, and I'm still not entirely, maybe I wasn't paying attention enough. I'm still not entirely sure if this means that you're going to be able to play those arcade games at home, or if it's going to use the computing power to run any kind of game. And it's just raw computing power being applied to whatever you're playing. I'm not entirely sure. Like, there's one line in here that actually says something like this. That's to the box. There's still a lot of unanswered questions surrounding the technical, economic, and even game selection issues surrounding fog gaming. For now, the concept still seems to be in a research and development phase at Sega, so it might be a while before we see it rolled out to Japanese arcade. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I don't normally do this. I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to link you the actual article so that you can see the thing that I'm seeing. So that seems to be the biggest problem, is that I'm not entirely sure how this is going to be implemented. What I will say, though, is that this is a fascinating idea. This is a very, very interesting idea in the exercise of using this hardware that is effectively dormant to provide gamers in one way or another with a gaming experience that is more suited to them. You know, you've got people who just don't like arcades, right? They love video games. They just don't like going to arcades. They don't like the crowd, especially when you talk about a place like Japan where arcades are still very popular. You have people that just don't like doing that. You have people who maybe they like it, but they have to travel too far to get to play some of these games. Especially when you're talking about areas of rural Japan where they have to go a very long way to get to some sort of entertainment venue. It's just a very, very interesting idea. I'm just not. I think we need to see more about how it's going to be implemented and what it's going to bring, what kind of experience it's going to bring. Other than that, I would say that it's a great idea. Like I said, now the other sad thing is that this is not an idea that's going to be feasible to do everywhere else. Japan, I don't know of anywhere else other than Japan that has a large active arcade market. You're telling me I keep getting ads for Dave & Buster's and there's none in my area. Oh, you're telling me I keep getting ads for Dave & Buster's and there's none in my area. Yeah. Are they going to bring it to the West? Why are you laughing? Oh, wait. I got a clip for that. Are they, Dion, are they bringing it to the West?
Oh, wait, you're serious? Let me laugh even harder.
What a great use for that clip. Probably South Korea. Okay, so South Korea, I know South Korea has a big video game following. There's a lot of video game subculture there. What I don't know is it arcades? I know that they have a home. Like, I know that when StarCraft started to become like an esport decades ago, Korea already had like stadium showings of StarCraft championships. Like esports and gaming in general is very big over there. But I don't know, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying I don't know whether or not they have a huge arcade. Yeah, Korea's more PC gaming, home console gaming, things like that. Probably more PC gaming than home console gaming. But yeah, I don't know for Korea to have a gigantic arcade market. So this sounds like feasibly a Japan only business. This is really a Japan only idea. Excuse me. Which I find fascinating. So I'm interested to see how it all plays out. They mostly game on PC or phones and not too much else. They don't like consoles because they still don't like Japan. But ow, that kind of hurts. But I can't say it's not true. All right. But that's a short topic. The reason I wanted to do that topic first was because I knew it was going to be short. So let me get to my buttons here. So Sega's second big announcement was the Game Gear Micro. That is a picture from the presentation. I snapped a picture of that, so I cheated. I cheated on my thumbnail. Or China, they're quickly growing. Is China growing quickly in arcades? That's interesting. Mainland China or because they have a lot of different things. So the other big piece of news was the Game Gear Micro. Now this sounded like a great idea, right? On paper, when you hear Game Gear Micro, you think, oh, that's kind of awesome. It's going to be a little Game Gear. It's going to have a whole bunch of games from the Game Gear library. Maybe introduce people to some games that they're not familiar with, because not everything is Sonic Triple Trouble or Sonic and Tails or whatever. And it all sounded great. And then they kept talking. They kept showing you things. I mean, first of all, the problem started right here. This is the first problem. That is accurate. My understanding is that this thing is only going to be somewhere between 3 and 4 inches wide. 1.15 inch display. I can tell you right now that very, very rarely do people have a lot of fun with something less than 4 inches. This thing, I don't know who this is for. Yes. Japan as a whole have smaller human beings. I think the average height in Japan is probably like less than 5'7". I know that a lot of things are not made for larger people, both wide and tall. I know that on the whole, genetically, it is a smaller race of people, but this is insane. This is wild. By the way, I'm not trying to be prejudiced when I say all of that stuff about being shorter and smaller. In researching, because I would love to go to Japan someday. In researching, I see that multiple times that Japan is a country designed for smaller people. So if you are very tall or you're very wide, you may or may not have a hard time there. Even in Japan, I'd be short. So right off the bat, we have a problem here. I thought the Game Boy Micro was too small, and this it looks like it's smaller. So you're talking about a 1.15 inch display is what I'm reading there, is what somebody said. Then there's going to be 4 of them. Walks through a paper door every time. Then there's going to be 4 of these devices. So this is not a one-all device. This is going to be 4 devices that are different colors. What are we looking at? Black, red, yellow, and blue. So you're going to have 4 different devices. They're going to be $50 a piece, roughly. Actually, it's like $46, but then you add tax, it's going to be $50. We're calling them $50. Each of these devices is only going to have... Oh, wait. I'm seeing... It's in here. 3.15 inches wide and about 1.7 inches tall. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Japan is taking micro quite literally. I already have trouble holding a single Joy-Con. I'm telling you, Greg, with Sega, every piece of hardware they make isn't the Genesis. Has to be. Yeah, and you're right, Ryan. There's always that one aspect of it. It's so great. They could come out with a Saturn Mini that has all of the games and like all of the games that you would want. And then they would say, oh, by the way, it only works on CRTs. It only has composite output. And it would be like, Sega, come on. As someone who bought and loves the GB Micro, this sounds like money down the drain. I think they advertise the screen magnifier. Yeah, we're getting to that, Rabbit. So you have these 4 devices. Now, these 4 devices are already significantly small. They each also only have 4 games with them. So if you want every game that's going to be available to you, you're going to want to buy all 4 of them. There is also the screen magnifier, which is going to take it from what? It's probably going to be from like 1.15 to 2 inches. Like, you know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. So right out, so it's insane. So screen magnifier. Well, I can't really give air quotes because it is magnifying the screen, but it's still not magnifying it to something that is reliable to look at. This is all exacerbated, right? Is that the word? By some of the choices of some of these games. Now, some of these games are actually really good. I'm going to read off the list of games here. Some of these games are actually really good. Games I've never heard of, or games that I was interested in maybe trying out, and now I thought this was going to be a way to try them out. The problem is some of these games are RPGs. You want me to read all of the text of an RPG, which is text and storyline heavy, on a screen this big, which means that the lettering is going to be this big. I am having trouble holding my fingers close enough to show you how small the lettering is going to be. It's difficult. It's going to be like your grandma reading the newspaper with a like here. Okay, Ryan. Now this time you hold the game and you play it, and I'll hold the magnifying glass for you. Do they have a micro? R-Wing, this thing is barely bigger than a micro SD card. So no, these are 4 games. Each system is going to have 4 games that are built onto the system, and that's it. Even with the magnifying glass, you're talking about playing these games 2 inches large. That's insane. I'm speculating on the 2-inch thing, but based on the pictures that I wish I grabbed the picture of it. Based on the picture that they showed, it's actually not wider than the system. So yeah, it's probably going to be about 2 inches wide, maybe 2.5 inches. So these are the games that you're getting on here. The black system is going to have, and they did this on purpose. You're gonna see. I'm gonna read the games to you, and you're gonna see exactly what they did on purpose as a trick. The black Game Gear is going to have Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, and a game called Royal Stone, which I've never heard of before, which is going to be sort of the theme for all of these. The blue system is going to have Sonic and Tails, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tale, which actually looks really good, and Baku Baku Animal. The third, I guess they only did it with 2 of them. The third system is probably going to be one of the better systems that sells based on the games. Shining Force Gaiden, Shining Force Gaiden 2, Shining Force Gaiden Final Conflict, and Nazo Puyo Arle no Ru? Nazo Puyo Arle no Ru. Okay, I think I got most of that right. The Shining Force games, I believe, were Game Gear exclusive. Oh, it's a Puyo RPG. Okay. The Shining Force games, I believe, were Game Gear exclusive. I don't remember, because on the Genesis, there were only 2. There were Shining Force 1 and 2. So I'm guessing these are Game Gear exclusive games, which means that probably not a lot of people have played them. The Puyo RPG, probably not a lot of people have played. So this is an RPG system. This is the one that you're going to have the hardest time reading. But I suspect this is one of the ones that's going to sell the most to people who actually want to play the games, because a lot of people are going to buy these just as collector's items. It's relatively affordably priced, so that is interesting enough. The last system might also be a contender for one of the better sellers. I think this will probably be second place. I could imagine this system and the Shining Force system going back and forth. Also, Shining Force for the Mega CD. Okay. I didn't realize they were I think so. I'm guessing that's what they were. I was pretty sure that there were Shining Force on the Game Gear. I just thought that they were the Genesis games on Game Gear. Maybe there were new ones. If somebody can look that up for me, that would be very helpful. I am pretty sure that there were Shining Force games on the Game Gear. I just thought that they were the Genesis games. But they might be original games. Or maybe they mean, I don't know, maybe they mean Shining Force 1 and 2, and then there's a third game that was on the Game Gear. I don't understand how they expect people to see it. Yeah, and again, that's the system that's going to be the worst when you're talking about small text. The last system is the red one. This actually sounds pretty cool. Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible, Megami Tensei Gaiden Last Bible Special, the GG Shinobi, which I'm going to guess that is the Game Gear Shinobi, and Columns, which was a very popular game. Now, those Megami Tensei games, I'm going to guess, I'm wildly guessing here, are they related to the Shin Megami Tensei series? Because that alone will make them popular. Seeing them play, I watched videos of these games in gameplay, they actually look really good as individual games, not as these tiny little things. So Shin means new, so it's just a subtitle. Okay, so they're going to be Megami Tensei games. I only know Shin Megami Tensei as Shin Megami Tensei. I didn't know that there was a Megami Tensei series. They're very different looking games from the Shin Megami Tensei games, but they look good. They look actually really like good games. The problem is that they're stuck on this small device that you're going to have a hard time seeing everything. Now, here goes the big window. So this is the big window. Let me save this image. Maybe I can actually put this up on stream. Hurry up and store. There we go. Big window, save. Let's add to my topics image. We're gonna switch to topics images here. I don't know how much of this you can all see. No, don't do that. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm doing this the more complicated way. I think I could have just brought it up as a window. And then we'll move that up to there. Okay. So we'll get back to the show here. Silver lining. There we go. All right. So that's it. Okay, so that's the big window. So this system is a little over 3 inches wide. The big window is shorter than that. So it looks about, I would say probably about 2 inches by a little less than 2 inches to maintain the aspect ratio. So yeah, Shining Force Gaiden are the Game Gear games, but also remade as Shining Force CD for the. Oh, okay. So so that actually makes a lot of sense. That thing legit. It looks like a keychain. Rabbit. That's probably the best comparison I could ever hear about these things, is that they are keychain ornaments at best, which, by the way, if you're looking at this right here, that looks like a keychain. That is the little part where the keychain would go, or like on the old cell phones, you would put like the little cell phone decoration. That is exactly what that looks like. And had 3 ports of the 8-bit Sonic games from the Master System, plus several old games. Okay, I'm back. Router died. Flipnote is having some problem with his router. Now, these systems are all $50 a piece. They're roughly going to be $50 a piece. If you pre-order all 4 of them, you will get the big window. You're going to have a ton of people doing that specifically for the big window, because it is a licensed Sega item. They want to collect it. Video game collectors love to collect that stuff. Sega collectors, there are a lot of diehard Sega collectors out there, especially in Japan. They're going to absolutely love to collect this stuff. So they're going to buy these, right? There's going to be a rush of people that buy these. Realistically, though, they're not very, very playable. You're not going to have, this is going to be like when we played my Qbert arcade machine. It was a fun laugh for 30 minutes, but it is not realistically a sustainable device for playing games. What I am interested in, there is something that I would love to see, and if I could do it myself, I would do it myself. Yeah, so does that mean the big window won't be available for a separate purchase? That I'm not sure of. That's another thing that, hold on. Getting your hands, let me do this again. Copy. I want to make a habit of this, so please remind me to do this from now on. Paste, yeah. So this is the article that I'm looking at right now. This has all of the list of games and the pictures and stuff. Getting your hands on the Big Window Micro requires pre-ordering. Oh, by the way, this is a Polygon article. Requires pre-ordering all 4 Game Gear Micro units at the same store. In Japan, at least, Sega has not announced a Western release for its mini Game Gear. That's it. The Sega Game Gear Micro will be powered by 2 AAA batteries, but can also be powered by a USB micro cable. It features a built-in speaker and headphone jack. So, would a Master System Mini be that? No, a Master System Mini would be wildly easy. That technology is probably as powerful, if not weaker, or actually probably on par with the NES Mini. And there's a Super NES Mini, so it's very possible. What I would love to see is for a modder to open it up, mod the video and control outputs externally. If you could run this image to a smaller screen, even if it's a really like an 8-inch PVM or something, or if it's a big screen and it's just blurry, I would love to see a modder do something like that, where you have these games and then you play it on something else. Obviously, it defeats the whole purpose of it being a portable system. Like, it would mostly just be interesting, but I would be interested to see what modders can do with this thing, if they can utilize it in some other way. With a headphone jack, the audio is easy. You just run the audio into something else. So like what people have been doing with the PS1 Mini. Rabbit, I haven't seen a lot of mods for the PS1 Mini, but I would love to. I think that the mods for that stuff. One of the things that I wanted to do with the Super Nintendo Mini would have been to shave off the top or replace the top with a 3D printed like a Lilliput. Like the little small screens they make the like 7-8 inch LCD screens. I would love to see one of those just attached to the system, and then you just carry around the system with a controller. I think that would be really interesting, or add the controller to the system. I don't know, but that ain't me. That's somebody else. Yeah, not available for the West yet. Would love a Master System Mini I think a Master System Mini would be fantastic. I think that's a great idea. I think it's money down the drain if Sega is not going to produce a Master System Mini, especially with the fact that the TurboGrafx Mini, from what I see, has been selling relatively okay. You know, it's a dirt cheap system to make your Sega, so you've got all of the IP. Just put it out there. You know, give a chance to play, because I would love to play. Oh my! What's the expensive? I think it's a Master System game. Legend of Senti, is that it? But passing the torch to the next generation from the man, Sagata Senshiro. Listen, pass the torch to anybody who's going to use these IPs and these ideas to make decent products. Because this Game Gear micro thing is just not. It's just not hitting, man. I don't know. There's just something about it that this is not. When it comes to the earth-shattering news that we thought we were going to hear, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the fall gaming thing. I don't think this shakes up the industry. Oh no, no, I did not see a video like that. Let's put that back. I put a picture in the Discord that made me think the 4 Game Gears would have come in a box set. I'm wondering if there is going to be a box set. Hold on, let me slowly open up Discord, since Discord always takes a second to open up for me. There we go. No, I did not see a video with there it is. With Sagata, right? Sagata? Yeah, I did not see that. You have to link me that later. Link that to me on Twitter so I can see that. Yeah, it was the Zelda S game. I want to say it was the Legend of Senti. Hold on. Oh no, I'm sorry. Crusader of Senti. Crusader of Senti. Yes. Oh, that was a Genesis game. I'm sorry, that was a Genesis game. There's a Master System game that's an adventure game. Hold on. I got it. Golden Axe Warriors. Golden Axe Warriors. No. It's called Golden Axe Warrior. It was a Sega Master System Golden Axe RPG. That is something I've wanted to play for a while. And it's like $150, $200 to get a physical copy of it. Obviously, you can download the ROM. I just haven't done that. But yeah, that's a game. You know, you release a Master System Mini with Golden Axe Warrior on it, that would be cheaper than a physical copy of the game. People would go nuts for it. And it's a great game from what I've seen. I've watched playthroughs of it. It's a fantastic looking game. Greg, watch now. Hold on. Am I supposed to watch this right now? Here we go. How long is it? 2 minutes? I won't watch it. Okay, so I'm not gonna watch it on stream just because when I upload, if YouTube hears the audio or sees the video, they're going to flag it. So I don't want to do that. The original Phantasy Star game. Yeah, the first Phantasy Star game. This is Well, just watch and react. I can't listen to the audio. That's the problem. I can't run the audio without the audio coming through. Actually, I can. I can actually do that. See, I feel bad distracting myself from everybody. But yeah. Spinning into a Master System conversation. You're talking about Phantasy Star. You're talking about the Zillion games. Spectre Salmon rating with a party of 4. Welcome. Official ending. No, we're only halfway through. Yeah, Phantasy Star 1 was on Master System. The original Sonic. There was a Sonic the Hedgehog that ended up on the Master System somehow. The Master System has some pretty decent games. I like that system. It's very good. Yes, there are some stinkers. There's F-16 Fighting Falcon. But the system itself was actually really decent. It just didn't get a chance, unfortunately. I was talking about the Golden Axe. Hold on. Didn't that game have mixed reviews? I saw it and thought that it looked pretty good. I don't know. I don't know what the reviews were. I'm seeing 4.8 out of 5. I'm seeing a lot of people give it some decent reviews. It's just, nobody got to play it. That's the unfortunate truth about some of that stuff. And that is the unfortunate truth about the Game Gear, is that the Game Gear probably has a ton of great games that we never got to see because the Game Gear was relatively unpopular. I mean, it got annihilated by the Game Boy. Everything did. Every Nintendo handheld, with the exception of the PSP, every Nintendo handheld annihilated any other option that was on the market at the time. They always did it. There's a bunch of Asterisk games on Master System, 3 Sonic games on the Master System. I think they only came out in Japan and Europe. Yeah, the Master System lived and died very, very. It lived fast and it died hard in the U.S. Or rather, it lived hard and it died fast. How well did the PSP was fantastic. The PSP was probably the only handheld to give the Game Boy market a run for its money. But it still lost, and the Vita and all of that stuff, just they were fine. They just didn't do well. They didn't do great enough. Yeah, Master System was popular in PAL regions. Master System was notoriously popular in South America. I think Brazil had a huge Sega following. Yeah, beat me right to it. Oh, not beat me to it. I said it first. Ryan. Yeah, it was gigantic over there. My understanding is that it was bigger than the NES in Brazil. It had a huge market over there. I like my PSP Go. The PSP had issues. Well, the Vita was chibi. The Vita, I believe, was better hardware because the PSP, the first models were known to break from time to time. And then the second and third model, I think the second model was also known to break. And then the third model I heard was really good. The Vita was better hardware, but as far as sales went, my understanding is that the PSP still was the king of Sony's handhelds. And the Go was a mess. It was a good system, but it was just kind of a mess. I think the Go was the one that was all download only, and nobody liked it. Yeah, Brazil made Master System games until early 2000. Yeah, absolutely. The PSP had the same problem the Vita had. Sony decided to stop supporting it way too soon. This stopping any further potential. Yeah, Vita could have done really well if Sony had done more to attract their. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it turned into what I understand, especially when I saw the store shelves. The Vita turned into like the anime game system. Like I would go and I would look at Vita games and I would look at the box art and it's just like, wow, it's all anime style games. Which sounds great, except that's not a lot of variety. You know, the reason you sell handheld game systems to a wide audience is that you have a wide variety of games. You're supposed to have sports games and action games and RPGs and adventure games and fighting games. You're supposed to do that. You know, when you have all anime style RPGs and fighters, it's going to kill your market, especially over here. You know, maybe it did much better in Japan. I mean, it definitely did much better in Japan, but that's also a bigger market over there than it is over here. I want a Vita. I had been trying to find a Vita for a while. The problem was, even now, if you try and find one, it's going to be $150, $200, and then you still got to buy games for it. And now the games are going up in price. Partially because home computers like the Amiga were still popular in Europe at the time. Also, Nintendo also had Mattel initially distribute the NES, but they botched it. That's always a problem. You don't put your big product in someone else's hands. You do it yourself. Yeah, Vita was for JRPGs and nothing else. I've heard the memes of Alf on Master System, looking at a list of Master System games. I still need to see it in action. I'm sure it's on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, look to the coming weeks when I will buy a copy of it and then put it there myself. The Game Gear and the Lynx could have done well if it wasn't for poor third-party support, to be fair. The Lynx is another system that I've wanted to own for a while, and when I find it, people are selling it for more than it's actually worth. That was a good system. I've seen that system in action before, and that's a good system. It just, the name behind it was already getting beaten up, and then, you know, it was trying to sell itself as a portable system, but it was gigantic. You know, there was a funny commercial where the kid's like, they're basically trying to say how it fits in your pocket. And then the kid's pocket was gigantic because it was the first model Lynx. It was so bad. Like, I subscribed literally so I could skip this ad. Oh, Blaze? What did you get? The Did you get the bounty ad? Cover me, cover me. Oh no, guys, I'm down. The fabled PSTV. I tried looking into that too. I want to play. I need a PSP Model 3. I want to play PSP games on stream. Oh, you got the shaving ad. The wait. Which one, Blaze? Now I'm fascinated. Was it a Manscaped ad, or was it the ad with Dr. Lupo? Because I like Dr. Lupo. So don't bash that commercial. Yeah. Right. I would agree with that. I would agree that the hardware-wise, the Vita is a better system. It had a bigger screen. It was a single screen, which, you know, the dual screen is cute, but I don't like it that much. And it felt more comfortable in my hands. It is a better system. I think hardware-wise, it's a much better system. It just didn't get the support. I mostly get the bounty ad is the one that I keep getting. That's the one that irritates me. It was some random shaving ad with super serious music. Was there a guy with a low sultry voice that you want him to read you the phone book? Was he talking about how he's getting ready to, before he goes on stream, he has to look his best? The PSP 3000 is what I have, but I feel like I'm using an emulator for the games. I feel like using an emulator for the games you have might just be easy. All right, so maybe that's what I need to do. Yeah, I need to stream that way. I like streaming original hardware. I think that there's as a channel that I like to tout my my retro experience in addition to play a few modern games here and there. I like the idea of real hardware. So it's if you come on here and you see me playing the Philips CDI Zelda games, you would say, "Oh God, he's playing the CDI Zelda games." But when you see that I'm holding a CDI controller and I'm playing it off of a CDI system, and you see how bad the loading is, and you see how rough it all looks, and how sometimes there's an error or something, like when you see that, there's a sense of authenticity to it that says, "Wow, this guy is not just playing. Now he's playing with powerless." That'll be our quote. That'll be our phrase, our catchphrase when we use like when I play 3DO. But it's like actually off the 3DO. It's gonna be, now you're playing with powerless. A fellow real hardware memer, absolutely. You're better off emulating PSP games, especially even Metal Gear Solid portable ops, because it's a patch for second stick widescreen at 60 frames per second instead of 15 like Sneak Eater. Oh God, it was 15 frames per second. Are you serious? That's 15 frames per second was Star Fox 1 on the Super Nintendo. Jeez. I'd go on, "Oh God, he made a mistake and picked up a CDI." Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I buy a CDI, let me give you some warning right now. If I buy a CDI, I might be signaling you that I need help. If I come on here and I'm like, "Oh yeah, hey everybody, I picked up a CDI and I love it. I gotta say that it's the best purchase I've made all year. I am in trouble. There is somebody off screen and I'm going to be hurt. It might be Mr. Phillips himself. I don't know. I think his first name's Howard. See how I did that? Shame, if I could reasonably do it, I prefer to play physical games on hardware. Now he's playing with frustration, super frustration. Of course, for hardware is nice. If you can't get the component cables, the component cables for the PSP are easy to find. I find those all over when I'm looking for PSP Model 3s. The component cable comes up all the time. Portable Ops is quite literally an unplayable game without emulation, which is a shame because it deserves to be ported with Peace Walker. PSP is still the only place to play Crisis Core. Absolutely. Well, that Mr. L, that's why I want to play PSP games on stream, because there are actually I have a somewhat small but decent library of PSP games that I would like to play on stream. A lot of them are adventure and RPG games, but I think they would be fun to play on stream. Well, that's weird. It was fun watching a streamer who had bought a 3DO for a very good price with a bunch of Japanese games. Sadly, it didn't work, but he ordered an ODE for it. afford it anyway. Okay. I have a 3D. I would love to play. 3DO games are kind of expensive, man. I tried to. First of all, Lucine's Quest is the game that I really, really want to play on stream, and that game is $400, I think. Yes, a 3DO game. But I want to play Killing Time. It's just the controls are so bad. The controls for that game are it's an FPS game with a controller like pre-analog sticks. Yeah, Lucine's Quest looks good. That's also on the Saturn, if that helps. Well, but the Lucine's Quest on the 3DO is in English. I think the Lucine's Quest on the Saturn is only Japanese. I actually didn't know that it was on the Saturn, but I know that it's not Saturn US. I've never heard of 3DO. Wow, you never heard of the 3DO? Sorry that this Game Gear Micro conversation has spilled into a very weird issue or a very weird topic. The 3DO was a Panasonic design system that was supposed to revolutionize gaming. There was supposed to be an add-on for it later called the M2, and it was supposed to be this one-of-a-kind experience with full FMV games. It was supposed to be fantastic, and what ended up happening was when they went to release it, it was supposed to release for $300, and in the last minute they changed it to $700, which I think around now, this is years ago, I think around with now money, that would be like releasing a video game system for $1,200. Think about it. You're talking about a $700 video game system in the mid 90s, 25 years ago. That's like I think the translation or the inflation difference, it turns out to be like $1,200. Did you ever look? No, I did not look up Killing Time on GOG. Let me hold on. GOG. Good old gaming, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to stand for? Isn't that what GOG stands for? Killing Time. Good old games. That's it. Top 50 highest rated. What? Oh, look, there it is. Wow, it's like $6. Yeah, it's like $7. I never bought anything from GOG. Dear free, blah, 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 goodies, in-game music, artwork. I need to read the description, so hopefully there's a lot of control things that they've added to this game. This is a great game. Killing Time was a fantastic game. I love that game. At least I loved that game. I haven't played it recently enough to know if I actually do like it or not. I believe the very first Need for Speed game came out. The very first Need for Speed came out on the 3DO. I have played the 3DO version. The PlayStation 1 version was better. I think as far as the loading times, it was better. But it was actually a really good game. The Need for Speed was always kind of a cool game, and then slowly but surely they kind of changed it. And yeah, exactly. Killing Time is on that, but there's also the charm of playing it on a real 3DO. Yeah, exactly. So if I played it on stream to show it off, I would play the 3DO version. The problem was that it controls like hell. And the frame rate for that game was actually really bad. The frame rate I remember chugging along for 3DO games like that. So it was kind of rough. So I would like to play a playable version of the game, but at the same time, I would like to show off the other version of the game. Importing PSP games from Russia is cheap. Games are still in English, but it takes forever to arrive. Oh boy, that doesn't sound good at all. See, I was spending that whole time worried that I got ripped off. We have the 3DS now, so hopefully that inflation stays in my pancakes. Stays in my pancakes. I don't know why, but I like that phrase, and I'm not even entirely sure what it means. First Need for Speed was on the 3D. Yeah. It has killer clowns. It has the ghost people too. Oh my god, Killing Time so good. Doom on the 3DO was terrible. The only good thing was the unique soundtrack. Maybe the 3DO made by the 3DO president and his rock band. Oh boy. I didn't play Doom. I have Wolfenstein on the 3DO. I do have Wolfenstein on the 3DO, and that's a good version of the game. It plays very well. I also have Samurai Showdown on the 3DO, which is a great version of the game, and Street Fighter. I have Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's a really good version of the. I need a 6-button 3DO controller. That's my issue right now, because my current 6-button. I have that weird Capcom controller that everybody. Do you ever see that weird Capcom controller where it's like twisted a certain way. They hold on, Capcom 3DO controller. There we go. I have it, but it's broken, so I need to find a way to get it fixed. Let's see. View image. Oh no, open. Isn't there like open image with? Because I can't do that. I can't do that. Save. Pictures. That would do that. Don't play Doom in 3DO. I want to see the playground argument happening between the Nintendo, Sony, and Sega kids, and then there's that one diehard 3DO kid that comes in, and everyone looks at it like confused. No, that minion, that kid is sitting on the swing, all over by himself, and he's watching the other argument, and he's going, "I like my 3DO." Okay, so let's see if I can open this thing up. Open with. There we go. I think photo gallery is the one. Yeah, there we go. Oh my god, it does work. All right, there we go. Yeah. All right. So that's the 3DO controller here. I have this controller, but it doesn't work. Something's wrong with the wire is messed up, so I need to try and get it repaired. It's actually not the worst controller, but it's pretty awkward, right? So, all right. So let me explain this controller here, because this controller definitely needs some explaining. The intention of this controller is that you are supposed to hold it like this, but then play like this, so that it's supposed to be more of an arcade experience. Rather than like this with both your thumbs, you're supposed to go like this, and then you can put your thumb underneath and then go like this, which is actually how I played some games. It's not awful. It's just incredibly awkward because you're already used to regular. This came out with the 3DO, and I think there were versions of this controller before, but you're talking 10 years after the NES. When in the Super NES, when we're all used to regular controllers. I have it though. I want to get it repaired. I want to find out if there's anybody that can repair them, because it's a goofy controller, but it's a cute little. It's a novelty. It's one of those fun things. But yeah, the 3DO was a system that had a lot of potential and got decimated by itself, by Panasonic. Panasonic killed that system all on their own. Oh no, he's sitting on the swing next to the Jaguar kit. I want a PS1. Oh, I want that. The PS1, it was like there was the Freedom controller or something. It was the one-handed RPG controller. Oh my god, I would love to. I think controllers are probably one of my most fascinating. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Here's what we're gonna do. Viewer topics. This is the viewer topic portion because we're getting away from the Game Gear discussion. So this is the viewer topic portion, but we're going to we're gonna muscle in the viewer topics portion by talking about game controllers. Since we started talking about that stuff, I like game controller. I think game controllers. I mean, obviously the game controller is the interface unit between us and the game itself. So that is a very important. I think it's an underrated aspect of gaming. Obviously we care about our controllers, but as long as Sony keeps making controllers like this, as long as Nintendo keeps doing whatever the hell they're doing, and then also releasing a controller like this, as long as that keeps going, we're normally pretty fine with it, right? We like different color controllers. Hey Sally, we like different color controllers, but for the most part, it's just a controller. Like, you can come out with all the different controllers you want for PS4 as long as it's still shaped like this. What I liked was that, there used to be different kind of controllers. There was, like you mentioned, let me see if I can find it here. PS1 RPG controller. Yeah, okay. The ASCII grip. Okay, so it's called the ASCII grip is the controller. It is a one-handed controller. It is designed to have all of the buttons necessary to play on one hand. The purpose of this controller originally was sold as an RPG controller, because RPGs you don't have to have a lot of fast control. It's basically menu selection depending on which game you're playing. Your character movement, and then it's menu selection. So I remember it being marketed as an RPG controller. It's just a cool sort of thing, right? Like let's see. I wish I could view these with different things. Otherwise, I have to save them. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Hold on. The Resi 4 chainsaw controller, anyone? Oh god. Still after a PS1 and a Saturn. I've never even seen the Saturn mouse in person. I've seen the PS1 mouse in person. I thought I had one for a while. I thought I had a PS1 mouse for a little while. I have used the PS1 mouse. We tried to use it for Command and Conquer. Ironically, it made the game a lot slower. This is the same problem with no, not SimCity. There was another one. The issue for Command and Conquer anyway was that you have a lot of controls that are mapped to hotkeys. They're effectively the hotkeys on your controller. Different buttons control different things. When you use a mouse, it's all menu based. So you have to, instead of just hitting the shoulder button and accessing this thing, you have to click this and then click this and then click this and then click this. And it's like, okay, that's actually worse. Yeah, it's actually much worse using the PS1 mouse for some of those games. Command & Conquer needs a mouse. It was odd on the 64, but it doesn't work very well. That's the thing, is that we thought, because the one guy that I worked with, he thought that because it was Command & Conquer, he figured, oh, this is like a PC game. Like, he played it on PC. He's like, oh, it's going to be perfect with the mouse, like a mouse and keyboard, because we had a USB keyboard or something. No. We didn't have we didn't have a keyboard for that. It was PS1. So he tried to use it, and he's like, yeah, it's not playable. It's not. You need, the reason mouse gaming works is because it's mouse and keyboard, because you've got your mouses for certain selections, and then you've got a bunch of hotkeys. For anybody that talks about mouse and keyboard is better than controller, yes, for certain kinds of games, because you've got an array of buttons. The idea is that it's actually more complicated. I like when people say that mouse and keyboard is simpler than controller. It's like, no. It's actually way more complicated because there's a lot more buttons, but it usually ends up being better. Yeah, it depends on what the game is built for. Yeah, some games are just not built. Like SimCity. If you ever played SimCity on the SNES, that game, I believe, uses the mouse. Even if you're using a controller, that game for the most part is icon selection. So it is actually better, with the exception of a few things here and there. As long as the mouse moves, that's the biggest problem I noticed with console games, early console systems that allow you to use a mouse. The mouse always moves super slow. If the mouse moves fast enough, you're fine. But it really usually doesn't. It's a weird thing. Like, it seems so simple. Can you hook the mouse into player 2 and use both at the same time? I don't think so. I think, if anything, it would probably be the other way around, where you would have the controller plugged into port 2 so that you can make certain selections. I imagine that's what it's got. But now you're talking about, instead of doing this, you're talking about doing this. I can't bring my mouse up far enough to get into the shot. Here, I'll bring my phone. My phone will fill in as the use of a mouse. So now you're talking about doing this, right? Like, you've got to play, and you've got to have the controller in your hand. That's way more complicated. Yeah, alternating controllers is it. Now you're talking about, okay, this is great. Oh wait, I need to get my controller. Like, and then you're okay. Now it's mouse time again. Like, if you can do it all with one or the other, that's fine. If you were going to force people to shift between the two, that's a little confusing, and people are not going to like that. They're just not going to embrace it. Whether or not they're going to think it was a good idea, it was a bad idea, they're just not going to embrace it. Oh, we're talking controllers right now, Mendez. So there was that crazy It turns out that there was one of these ASCII controllers for Super Nintendo also. I think this is the one. I remember seeing the ASCII grip for the PlayStation. I think the Super Nintendo was the first time I thought that's actually a really, really brilliant idea. Can you use? You can use a USB mouse with a handful of Switch games. Wouldn't AC be great? Mr. L, certain aspects of Animal Crossing might be more interesting with a mouse, but overall the game, not really. I don't think that a mouse and keyboard would work well for Animal Crossing. Well, mouse and keyboard maybe, but just the mouse, absolutely not. The reason I say that is because Wild World on the DS, Animal Crossing Wild World, was very pointer heavy. Like, in order to move your character, you had to touch the screen in front of them, and then they would move towards that point. So that was how you move them around. It was very cumbersome, so it was not pleasant. It did not feel intuitive at all. It just really was not. The 360 Xbox One is the best controller. I like it, but for the modern controllers, I've gotten really used to the PS4 controller. The Xbox 360 controller is not bad by any stretch of the imagination, or the Xbox One controller. I think I like the Xbox 360 controller a little bit better than I like the One controller, if I'm being totally honest. Steam did try the mouse input with the Steam controller, which worked to a degree. And that's the thing. You don't want to... Oh, yeah, Mendez, that was the beginning part. This is just the viewer topics portion. That, unfortunately, Dr. Gibbs, is sort of the issue. You sort of accidentally hit it right on the head. You want something that works, not something that works to a degree. You want the controller needs to be functional for pretty much everything. Maybe you can create newer, unique function. You know, when you have like a driving game, you know, there is a uniqueness to using a steering wheel as against using a controller. But you would never release just a steering wheel. Like, you would not make it so that all of your games run on the steering wheel. The standard controller needs to be accessible for everything. So I did. No problem, Flip. No, have a good one. Be sure to watch for the upload on YouTube. I've been loving the 360 controller since finding a console. Yeah, the 360 controller was actually rock solid. That was really good. That was a really good controller. I see a lot of people are still in the dark too. It's basically cloud-based. Oh, the fog gaming thing. Yeah, it's everybody's still lost in the fog when it comes to that. So yeah, so those are, you know, controllers. I have a fondness for controllers, so I would love to collect them. The problem is they're actually kind of expensive. When you look for like these ASCII one-handed controllers, there was a PlayStation controller called the Freedom Pro controller, which I think that was the one that split into two. It was like two halves of a PlayStation controller, and then there was a plastic. It was like a dead zone. Like, there was nothing here. It was just a connector, and you would attach each half, but then you could separate them, and then it run like that. I thought that was a cool controller. It was kind of interesting. I never managed to find one. It's all the mouse talk. Just talking about controllers. I'm still favorable to the ever classic Super Famicom SNES controller, which was why I was glad when 8-Bit Dough made a modern controller for Switch and PC. Yeah, absolutely. I have the Nintendo brand Super Nintendo, the SNES, the Nintendo Online one that they sold. That's a great controller. It's fantastic. PlayStation, yeah, they sort of were. I might have seen that split in half that split in half controller. Okay. Arcade games over the internet connection. Well, Mr. L, go back and watch the beginning of the show when we're done here. You'll see that we're not actually sure what it is. PS1 Freedom Pro controller. I was pretty sure it was called the Freedom Pro controller. I'm not seeing it here. It doesn't show up. Was it Namco? Was it Namco that makes that? Half. I'm looking to see. I wanna find it. Wow, I can't even find it here. I would like a Game Boy Micro. The split. Was there a split Xbox controller? Did somebody do that too? I think I should do that. I think I should research fun, goofy controllers for a specific system. Put a pic in Discord. Hold on. So let's see here. Discord. Oh no. Okay. So that's this controller here. Hold on. Can I save? I want to save it. Just save it. Save image. Right there. I never saved from Discord before. There we go. Pictures. Oh my god. Just save already. Good lord. View. Open with photo gallery. There we go. Do that. There we go. So that is the NegCon. I'm gonna say that very carefully. That is the NegCon controller. Now the way this controller works, for as dumb as it looks, it's interesting. It definitely feels more like something Nintendo would do. The controller twists. It can twist like that. That was designed for racing games. Yeah, you can see it up there. I thought it was. Is it a G? I thought it was. I always thought it was a G. I always thought it was because the arrow looks like part of a G. Namco controller. Yeah, I always thought it was the NegCon, which I think it is. Yeah, NEG-Con. That's what it is. Well, it's like capital N, lowercase e, capital G, and then lowercase CON. Yeah, that's a G. It is a driving controller. The idea is that you twist it, and then that's how you. Me personally, I would have ended up doing this. I would have ended up holding it and then like doing like this with my finger on the trigger to gas the car. It actually doesn't sound like a bad idea, right? When you do it like that. It's a cool looking controller. It was bigger. It's definitely chunkier. 10 elements in the hunt with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Anonymous Gifter gave elements a tier 1 sub. Thank you, Anonymous Gifter, wherever you are. But I'm assuming, hopefully, you're here. My Life in Gaming has some pretty interesting vids on controllers, first and third party controllers. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. An anonymous gift. Oh, hold on. Is that somebody actually named an anonymous gifter, or because my thing just says an anonymous gifter, so I don't actually know how that works. But yes, thank you. Yeah. There's some great controllers out there. Yeah. Okay. So that was their actual name. Well, thank you, anonymous gifter. I very much appreciate that. And you are always welcome here, not just because you gifted a sub, but because you are the kind of person who would gift a sub, which means you're good people, in my opinion. Absolutely, fantastic. Thank you. So yeah. So that's like my little control. Like I said, we should probably do a more thorough, like I want to collect controllers. I think controllers are the thing that I would love to collect the most. I would love to collect first and third party controllers that were unusual, but it's expensive. It's actually very expensive to do that. There's a light gun for the PlayStation that it's still pricey for the PlayStation 1. The Naki gun, Naki. They did a light gun. The last time I saw that light gun for sale at a convention, the guy was selling it for like $40, and it's still expensive. It's still tough to find. The Magnavox Odyssey realistic looking shotgun, that would be kind of cool. Well, there was Ryan. There was oh my god, I don't think it was the Bally Home Arcade. Bally Home Arcade. I don't think it was that. It was. No, it was not the Bally Home Arcade. There was this weird video game system that had like a steering wheel on one side, and I thought it came with a realistic shotgun. I don't think it was the Odyssey though. Magnavox Odyssey gun. Let's see if this is what it was. No. That's the shooting gallery gun that looks like a real shotgun. I'd have to find it. It was this sort of weird home arcade retro. No, see, if I type in retro home arcade, I'm gonna get a bunch of MAME stuff. Crypt Killer and Henry Explorer. Is it the Konami one? Yeah, I think Konami did the Naki controller. I remember it being Naki. It was some sort of Pong machine thing. Yeah, it was very, very old school. Oh, did AVGN do something about that? Okay. So that I like that stuff. I think that is very fascinating. It's just it's expensive. It really is. To get into that as a hobby is actually not super simple. Like I have a few. Oh no! You're thinking of the Justifier. No, yeah, the Justifier were the Lethal Enforcer guns. That I think you had to buy Lethal Enforcers to get them. So much aggression. Hold on, what's this? Oh, that's kind of cool. Naki light gun. PS1. This is sort of like a ramble, by the way. We're not actually. Yeah, here it is. The Naki light gun. Yeah, it's there's one for Saturn also. Save image. Oh, stop doing that. Naki gun. It's like Bakugan, but it's Naki gun. Open web. See, I need a more reliable way to do this, but oh my god, it's so small. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's a cool gun. Okay, so this is actually a super cool gun. There's two reasons I want this. First of all, it's kind of cool looking, right? I personally think it's kind of cool looking. Oh, and there were two of those. One for the Mega Drive, where the second controller was needed. The elements. The reason it was expensive, the second Justifier, the pink one, because you got the blue one. No, this is not the Justifier. The Justifier looked like a real 357 Magnum, but one of them is blue and one of them is pink. The second controller was the pink one that you had to buy separately. You could not get it unless you bought it separately, and then I think there were conditions for you to buy it. So it's very rare. It's extremely rare. No. You're talking about not the Namco gun. You're talking about the Justifier gun. That Justifier gun was also on Super Nintendo and Genesis. But yeah, there's the blue one, there's the pink one. They were different. They were the Konami light guns. They worked very well, but yeah, in order to buy the pink one, that was for like the second player in the arcade. That was expensive. That's very, very difficult to find now. So there's two reasons I like this gun. Number one, I just personally think it looks kind of cool. Number two, this gun, let me see if I can. Okay, view image. I had to go through this whole sort of process. Save image. Pictures. Gunstar. I hate that I have to go through that whole process in order to look that stuff up. Photo gallery. All right. So the gun that he's holding on, where's that window? Oh, no. I've got like a bunch of windows. Okay, so close that window. So the gun that he's holding, it's hard to see. I know it's hard to see in the stream. Is basically like the shape of that light gun, of that Naki gun. So I always thought, for some reason, I like the association of it. And I know that it's a very obscure, weird association that probably has nothing to do with anything. That's kind of why I thought you said, when you said Konami, I kind of thought that's what you were talking about. Because Gunstar Heroes was made by Treasure. Treasure was, I believe, a development team of people who had left Konami. So that's why I thought that there was some sort of weird relation. That's like the degrees of separation to it. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I kind of like it. I mean, there was stuff like the Scorpion gun that came out for the PS1 that looked like an actual Walther PPK, and it came in silver with wooden style grips. Like it looked like a real gun. So those are the kinds of things that they came into the store and we would look at and go, that ain't gonna last long. YouTube's gonna flag me for discussing gun sales. Oh yeah, Crypt Killer. I played Crypt Killer in the arcade. Crypt Killer is a fantastic game. Yeah, Treasure is a familiar company name. What else did they make? Treasure was for a while probably one of my favorite companies. Treasure made Gunstar Heroes, McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure for the Genesis, Alien Soldier. Oh my god, I don't know why it's escaping me, why their lineup is escaping me right now. They do have Radiant Silvergun and Ikaruga. Like, they have a decent library. Like, their development team was actually very dedicated to their craft. So you can tell that there were a lot of care went into the games that's why people always chuckle when I mention on the Genesis McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure, and people always chuckle. And then you play it and you're like, oh, this is actually kind of a rock solid game. It doesn't feel like a cash grab. Oh yeah, Bangayo, Sin and Punishment. Sin and Punishment was a fantastic game. They're a great company. I would love to I wanted to try and collect all of their games just because they're Treasure and I wanted them, but Alien Soldier on the Mega Drive is expensive. Bangayo has gone up in price ever since it came out. Like, I don't think that game was ever cheap. Oh yeah, they did Mischief Makers. Yeah. Bangayo's a super expensive game, which was better on the Dreamcast. It actually came out on N64 in Japan, but it never came out on the US N64. But it was I think it came out US Dreamcast. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, everyone. I've been having heart problems lately, and and now I'm going to emergency room. Oh my god, take care of yourself, Rye. Be safe, be healthy, and let us know if everything is all right. I hope everything is good. Or rather, I hope everything gets better. All right, so I have hijacked your topics long enough. Is there, in any chance, does anybody have any other topics that they want to talk about? Any questions you want to ask? It can be whatever other than the political climate at the time. I think we need an escape from that. Yeah, but does anybody have any, it's a bummer because this would have been the week. To be honest, I hijacked it too. This would have been the week that the PS5 information was released, and obviously with the current state of the world, it is not the time to be celebrating those things. But it is nonetheless sad that we are not getting this information. We didn't get any Smash news. We didn't get the PS5 reveal. Favorite Pokemon gym. I don't know that I have a favorite Pokemon gym, but I'm a little hot for Flannery, so I think Flannery is the one that I'm hot for. Yeah. E3 was supposed to be next week. That's an incredible bummer. It's so heartbreaking to not have that. Are you getting the Isabelle Smash Amiibo next week? I haven't bought an Amiibo in a while. I might buy the Isabelle Smash Amiibo, not because it's a Smash, but because it's Animal Crossing. So I may end up getting that. I almost have all of the Animal Crossing Amiibo. The only ones I'm missing is Timmy and Tommy. I don't have Amiibo Festival, so I don't have. I think Digby and a version of Isabelle came in there, and then I think there was a separate version of Isabelle that was released separately. I don't have those, but I have all of the other ones. Flannery is a good choice. This week was also Wonder Woman 1984's original release date. Oh, okay. So we'll see what happens with that movie, depending on how they release it. I'd be interested to see if they do a home release for that movie, rather than wait for it to come out in the theaters. I'm partial to the electric type gyms. Good takes. TV, movie, VHS logos that used to scare the crap out of you as a kid. I don't have any that scared me. I might have a few that I found to be startling. One of the ones in particular that I used to love hearing because it meant something fun was going to come on. But it was kind of jarring. Jarring is a good word. Does anybody remember... I'm pretty sure it was a CBS thing where the words would sort of spin onto the screen, and it was for a special. It was to tell you that a special program was about to come on, which usually meant like the holidays, when you had like Charlie Brown, Christmas and Thanksgiving come on, and it would go, and it was like this real jarring noise, and it was very startling if you were not expecting it. but it meant that you were about to watch Charlie Brown Christmas, right? It meant that you were going to watch one of these, the Grinch was about to come on or something. So I liked it, but it was definitely one of those that I always remember as, I think I have more positive memories. I have positive memories of that. Obviously the THX logo is fantastic. There were, that doesn't really count. They were like the commercial bumpers for ABC Saturday morning cartoons, like the claymation stuff. There's one, I was just thinking of one too. Obviously like the 20th Century Fox with Star Wars, we all, you know, that's iconic. There was one that I was trying to think of, and it was right on the tip of my tongue. Hey, Game Freak. I can't remember what it was. This is an old school one. So I'm gonna reach into a very, very old school reference right now. I want to see who knows this reference. Maybe you have seen it later on. If you got a VHS animated tape as a kid, I don't know if like the G.I. Joe movie had it or something, but I know that a lot of the anime and cartoons, like especially the stuff that was like 2 and 3 episodes per video cassette, if you got any of that, it was probably from a company called Family Home Entertainment. And they had a logo at the beginning of their videos that was, it looked like a writing line. Remember when you were a kid and it was like the 2 lines and then a dotted line in the middle to show you where the capital letters would end and where the lowercase letters would end. And the logo was the writing of FHE in lowercase, and it would go, and then it would write each letter, and then it would like dot, it would dot, and there was a little fade away jingle. That is probably one of my most positive memories of those, of like the logo intros and stuff like that. I enjoyed that. I've always very much enjoyed those because again, those were okay. I'm about to watch something. Like we're gonna watch something. It's gonna be cool. I think I know that logo. Oh, you know what I can do? I can bring it up. Hold on. I think I can bring it up. I should be able to switch. Yeah, I should be able to bring it up. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this actually works. FHE logo. Oh, it's this. Hold on. Okay, so we're gonna let's bring it up. All right, so I'm gonna try something here. Let's see if this works. Capture only? No. Okay, so that does not work. Wow, that doesn't work. Maybe it's because it's YouTube. I don't know. What about the HDMI section? See, that works there. That's so strange. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready to turn it down in case it messes up. Oh, I love it. I love it because that meant you were about to watch a cartoon. Like, that's what it meant to me. Don't know if Lionsgate... Does Lionsgate own FHE now? Oh, my God. This is American, so I have no idea. But like I somehow... Yeah, that to me is probably one of my most positive memories of those kinds of things. I won't play the... Oh, my God, I probably should. Hold on. No. Don't play it again. It was, I think it was CBS. CBS was special presentation logo. All right. This should be low enough. This one?
Newlywed Game.
No. Oh my God. The Newlywed Game. Oh, okay. So everybody, just so you know, the Newlywed Game is coming on at 4. Jeopardy's coming on at 5. Heads up. Yeah. TBI. Oh God, yeah. All right, so hold on.
Game and Jeopardy are switching times starting Monday.
Oh no,
Channel
they're switching
7.
time. Don't listen to me. That meant that Charlie Brown's Christmas or Thanksgiving or something was about to come on. The Newlywed Game's coming on. We can talk about making whoopee. I'll put them on. I'll put them onto record then. I think they own the license for. Oh, okay, yeah. But that was what would come on whenever that stuff happened. So yeah, I have positive memories of that, but I don't think I have any negative memories of any sort of thing like that. Nothing that scared me. Nothing that really brought out a lot of fear in me or anything. So we can close that. We can actually close this whole window. There we go. Can't believe you thought it was. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I didn't know that they were switching times. We'll close those. All right. So, does anybody have any other topics that they want to discuss? Any questions that they want to ask? I think I always remind people that this is the Q&A portion as well. All right, one logo that scared the crap out of me as a kid. Looking back at the server. I want to know what. I want to know what one that is. When the lamp would replace the just the music. Did Disney VHS logos coming soon to the home video? The MTM logo, with the lion, MTM or MGM, the Metro Goldwyn Mayer, with the lion. I don't know any other big gaming. No, Mendez. There definitely hasn't been a lot of big gaming news other than cancellations of announcements, just because of everything that's been going on. It has been a rough one. It's been a rough week. MTM with the kitten. Oh wow, I feel like I've seen that, but it doesn't. MTM logo. Oh, I know that. Oh wow, I know this logo. Yes, I do, because the little cat would meow and oh my god, yeah, I do know this logo. Wow, that's a classic. Digging into the past for that one. What about the late 80s, early 90s Warner intro with Bugs and the Big orchestrated? Yeah, that I think I know that one too. I don't know the jingle. I don't know it offhand. I also remember there was one specifically for Tom and Jerry, which was the MGM logo with what's his name, with Tom, and he would like meow meow meow. There was that one. Yeah, those are some of the intro. That's why I put a compilation together of weird intro. Like I said yesterday, I'm not much younger. Yeah, that's right. I don't know, Game Freak. It's awkward. It's unusual for me to as many older gamers as there are, which I have to call myself an older gamer nowadays. As many older gamers as there are, it is still kind of unusual for me to come across them. I don't come across many. Yeah, that was the Chuck Jones run of Tom and Jerry. Thank you. I don't come across many that are 40-somethings. I don't really come across a lot of 40-something gamers. Most of the people that I come across are early 30s and younger, and then that's it. Like I am the oldest video gamer that I personally know. I don't know anybody who is a hardcore gamer that is older than me. I know that they exist. I just don't know them. Yeah, he would meow and then tis. Yeah. Most of your gaming cohorts hopped off. Ryan, I would say most of my gaming cohorts dropped off in the mid-aughts. Is probably the last time I very heavily associated with people that are hardcore video gamers, and then later I come to find out that they dropped off of video games completely. Haven't hit 40 yet, besides my hairline. My bosses are in their 50s and play Fortnite. Very, very interesting. I like that. I like that people still play some of that stuff. Like, everybody bashes Fortnite. Everybody talks about it. But you know what? If it gets people into gaming and then they discover other games, that's a good thing. That's a fantastic thing for them to have. Klasky Supo had a weird logo thing. That name sounds super. I feel like I've seen that name before, so I'm almost positive I've seen that name before. I think the probably the most famous one is probably Ubu. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. I think that's one that pretty much everybody knows. Oh, they made Rugrats. Okay. I mean, and that Ubu thing was at the end of the show, so it's not really the same, but I think everybody knows that one. How many people do you run into that played TurboGrafx back in the day? Yeah. Well, TurboGrafx is a hard. That's a hard judge, because even people who were hardcore gamers back then might not have had access to that system. Like, I only really had access to that system because a friend of mine that we were good friends in grade school, he had one. I never had a TurboGrafx, but he had one, so I played a lot of those games. And then later, when TurboGrafx started to die down very heavily, and I eventually, when I worked at a game store, I got into TurboGrafx a lot more then. Watching some of the Valis games. Oh, I have Valis 2. Valis 2? I have one of the Valis games. As I turn around and remember that my TurboGrafx stuff is upstairs still. I have one of the Valis CD games. I don't... I think... which ones were on CD? I might have the first one. And then I don't have the others. Was it only 2 and 3? Was it only 1, 2, and 3? I remember Valis 3 being on there. I heard Valis 2 isn't that good. Universal Studios Florida's anniversary is Sunday. That's a bummer that they're having an anniversary during the COVID climate. I think it was 3 and 4. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's Valis 3 that I have? Isn't Valis... I think Valis 2 is also on CD. Maybe it's Valis 2 and then Valis 3. Because I remember Valis 3 being more expensive. I'm saying the word Valis a lot and it's driving me crazy. And then Valis 1, I think, was Famicom. I think Valis 1 was Famicom. And then Valis... I have Super Valis 4 on the Super Nintendo. I think I have a physical copy of that. I may have to tear my house apart because I'm pretty sure I have a copy of Valis 4 on the Super Nintendo and I'm not seeing it anywhere. Valis 2 was on CD as well. Okay, so Valis 2 I'm pretty sure is the one that I have. EA is starting to put some of their Origin exclusive games on Steam now. I'll have to look that up. I don't know what the EA Origin games are. Origin exclusive, I mean. I don't think I'm just saying. Oh, I'm just saying the Parker's turning there. Oh, yeah. Well, it just sucks that they can't celebrate it. It just sucks that they're not going to be able to have a big event or anything like that. It's a bummer for them. It definitely is. It's understandable why, but it's still a bummer. I say Devil's Crush on TG is the best pinball game out there. I will challenge your Devil's Crush. And that'll be the last thing before we wrap up. I will challenge your Devil's Crush and say Time Cruise Pinball on the TurboGrafx is probably one of my favorite pinball games ever. I think that is a terrific standard style pinball game. Because if we're talking about the pinball game aesthetic, I absolutely love Sonic Spinball. I know that it's sort of a meme to say it. I know that people would usually joke about it, but I love Sonic Spinball. But Sonic Spinball is definitely not a standard pinball game. As far as standard pinball goes, the Pokemon... What was the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire pinball? Is that what it was called? Was it called Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire pinball or something? I love that one. I played tons of that game. And then Time Cruise Pinball was very interesting. Okay, so let me tell you what happened with Time Cruise. Right, Time Cruise. This is before we go. This is a fun retro story. I like to try and tell fun retro stories when I can. I had the Game Boy Color Pokemon Pinball. God, I hated seeing those in the store because they were always missing the battery cover. Time Cruise Pinball is one of my favorite stories because I ordered off of eBay Ease Book 1 and 2. I won an auction for Ease Book 1 and 2 that was complete. That had the map in it, that had the slip box, like the cardboard slip box. It had everything with it. It was in perfect shape. So I ordered it, and I waited like 2 weeks, and I got it in the mail, and I opened it up, and they screwed up the order. They sent me the wrong thing. They sent my Ease to somebody else, and they sent me their Time Cruise Pinball. Boxed, cardboard box, everything. Like, this guy had a ton of turbo stuff that he was selling at the time. This is like decades ago. This is like 20 years ago. So I was gonna mail it back. Probably not 20, like 15. So I was gonna mail it back, and I said, okay, I'm gonna mail it back. I told the guy, like, don't worry about I'm gonna pay for the shipping to ship it to you. Don't worry about that. If you want to give me the address of the other person, that's totally fine. He's like, no, because I don't want to give you somebody else's address. So I was like, okay, that's totally fine. So I said, okay, I'm gonna send it back to you. But while I have it, let me give it a try. I never had a chance to play it. Let's go for it. I played it, and I was like, this is the best pinball game I think I've ever played. This game's amazing. I felt bad that I had to mail it back. So I mailed it back, and then immediately went onto eBay to buy another one, to buy a Time Cruise pinball. It took me a while. I actually had to struggle to find one because there were not many copies of that game up there. But I did. I eventually found a copy of it. I think my copy has the case and the manual, but not the cardboard slip box. So that is a fantastic game. So yeah, if you are into pinball games, if you're into turbo games, Time Cruise pinball is terrific. I can understand liking Devil's Crush better than Time Cruise, but I still think Time Cruise is unbelievable. I swear I never got. Yeah, I swear I never got it. No, that Gibbs. The problem with that is then I don't get my turbo. I don't get my Ease Book 1 and 2. Trying to figure out how Elements is 20 seconds. Oh, yeah. Mendez, if you're watching on mobile, if you're watching on your phone or your tablet, there is a much, much higher delay. So that's a bummer. Okay, let's get these buttons ready to go. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in and for hanging out. It is always a fantastic time having everybody here and being able to interact with everyone. A pinball game. Oh, it's wild Elements. It's like time travel. It's all kinds of crazy stuff. I very much appreciate everybody being here. Yes, Mr. L, I have played it. I have not played all the way through it. It is terrific having everybody here. It is very, very helpful to my mental state to have everybody here to interact with, and I like to think that it is helpful for all of you. I like to think that this is the escape. You know, there's a reason I called the show The Silver Lining, and the idea was that, other than the play on words for the word silver, the idea was that it was going to be something positive to look for towards the end of the week. So I hope with the week that we've had, I hope that this silver lining has been exactly that. I hope that it has been a bright spot in your week. So I very much appreciate you all stopping in, because let's face it, as much fun as I have doing this, it wouldn't be the same without all of you here. Absolutely not. If you're watching this right now and you do not normally follow us over on Twitter. That is where I post all kinds of fun stuff and a schedule as far as whether or not we're going to be streaming, what we're going to be streaming. If I do surprise streams, for instance, I'll announce it over there. Follow us over on YouTube. YouTube is where we upload these episodes. And every once in a while, I try to remember to do something else fun. But the bottom line is I'm lazy when it comes to YouTube. And we also have a Discord. So if you follow us over on Discord, you can join in the conversation and, escape standard social media into this realm where you can just talk about video games and sci-fi and comic books and characters with a bunch of other nerds. If you are watching this on YouTube, also check the links down below to follow us over on Twitter, follow us over on Discord, and follow us over on Twitch, where we stream 4 days a week. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Friday nights is this show right here, so you can stop on there. What's your YouTube channel? That is the YouTube channel right there. That's where I upload all of the episodes for the Silver Lining. And then if I upload gameplay streams, they'll also go there, which I probably need to be more studious of and astute and all kinds of words that I'm probably using wrong. But get my buttons ready here. Thank you, everybody. Before you go, I would like to just say that as I've mentioned before, it has been a very, very rough week. And a lot of us are maybe physically exhausted. I know that a lot of us, myself included, are very mentally exhausted from the absorption of negativity. We sit down and we watch the news and we absorb it all. We sit down and we read our social media and we absorb it all. And we have been inundated with information about this subject that we have never on a range, on a magnitude that we have never seen before. But I can tell you that it's important. So if you need to take a break, absolutely take a break from Twitter, from Facebook, from any of the social medias that are talking about all of this stuff, from watching videos and news clips. Absolutely take a break. But do not, please, 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 do not just ignore it completely, because this is a very, very serious issue. It is, a Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. There is no question of that whatsoever. In addition to that, there are these other issues that you need to focus on. And honestly, hopefully, I would hope that in seeing all of this stuff and understanding that there are a lot of issues that need taken care of, maybe you discover that there are issues that you are able to handle yourself. Obviously, we here on this nerdy geeky talk show, we are not going to fix racial inequality, but maybe in studying that you find a cause or a topic that is closer to home, both figuratively and literally. So all I ask is that you do not bury your head in the sand completely. If you need to do it for your own mental health, absolutely take care of yourself, because mental health is your own personal mental health is going to be the most important thing to you. And also elements in doing all of that, remember that there is still a global pandemic going on. So also continue to take care of yourselves in that. Isolate yourself as much as you can when you're out in public. Don't no large gatherings. Don't make out with a bunch of strangers. Unless you want to. I don't know. I don't know what you're into. But take care of yourselves, everybody. That is going to wrap it up for today. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Be good. Be safe. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to each other. And I will see you all next time.